Here we go. Just the Thought podcast. We are back with another one. We have a special guest in the building today. So excited, super excited to have her on. The astrology queen herself, aka Carol Starr. All right, she has read over 10,000 plus charts. All right, she's helped thousands find love, money, clarity, and now she's here to spill the cosmic tea. All right, guys. So we're talking zodiac red flags, signs that attract wealth, your overall life. All right, what you should be doing. Which zodiac sign should you what placements in your chart should you focus on? All right, what timing, the timing. All right, we're gonna get into a lot of that. But Carol Starr, it is a blessing to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for letting me. And I have to tell all those stories. I may have to leave. It's too complicated. No, I'm kidding. I'm here to astrology. I love it. I've been doing it for a lot of years, and not steadily, but it's always in my life. It's like when I was young, I studied the stars, astronomy. I was so little did I know I'd become an astrologer. I was so interested in all the planets and what they did. And years later, no reference to that, I did become an astrologer. So it must have been predestined for me to do this.
Yeah, before we get into it, I want to ask you what attracted you to become an astrologer, to make this a part of your life. What attracted you to that?
Well, you're going to laugh. Okay. Years ago, my kids were growing, and I thought, I need to go back to work. I need to do something. So I told my husband I was going to become a paralegal. So I went to class. I lasted through half the class, left my books, and cleared out. So I was talking to a friend. She said, you ought to have your chart done. I said, what's a chart? And that's how it all happened. And I got my chart done, fell in love with astrology, took the class, learned all the basics and everything, and started doing readings. And then I had my own TV show and radio show. I started doing all kinds of stuff. Well, so if you ask about it, I'll tell you more.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. I'm excited. I'm excited. So off the bat, right? Your name is Libra Carol, the astrologer. So let me ask you something because
Oh,
we know your sign already, but
yeah, but
um
what's your sign?
my sign, guess.
I can't always, that is a tough one because people don't always look and act like their sun sign because I really believe that we're a conglomerate of all our charts. So that's, I got out of that one easily, didn't I? Yeah.
Okay.
My first, you're going to take a guess out of nowhere. I would say either an Aries or Aquarius.
People usually people my Mercury is an Aries. Um I am a Taurus.
Okay, right. So I knew you were going to be either a Taurus or a Pisces because Mercury is always close to the sun. So I would have had a second guess on that, and you wouldn't have known why. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
First person. Okay, ruled by Venus, like I am. Yes, we're the beauties of the zodiac, right?
Yes, we are. We love luxurious stuff. We love to look good. We love to smell good. We are the fruit of our labor. Like we love the detailed things in life. Yes, I would have to agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What's one thing people always get wrong about you based on your sign?
That's a really good question because here's the thing, right? We're all, when someone says they're on the cusp and they pick up traits from the next sign, we pick up traits from every single sign. Okay. But I'm going to answer that question for you. Is that Libras are balanced, and the jury is out on that one. I want to tell you, balanced. I don't know that Libras are so balanced. I know the weights are. I just think that we just care about people and have, there's a certain attitude about Libras. It's the only zodiac sign that no one says anything bad about. Okay. Because you say you're a Libra, they say, oh, I have friends who are Libra. I love my Libra friends. And they're so great and everything. Now, the Tauruses, I have a little comedy act I used to do on stage. Tauruses, are not boring by any means, but they're just more, the Venus in there is a lot quieter, a lot more subtle, And people always think, they think Tauruses are stubborn, and they're not. So we all have these labels that really, they don't always mean, but I do find certain signs have certain traits almost all the time.
Yes.
I'm surprised I didn't. Taurus people have a way of talking and acting that is quiet and usually more solid. You rarely find a fast talking Taurus person.
Yeah, I found that because as a Taurus, I'm pretty talkative, really, really talkative.
What you want, but you don't talk fast. You think before you talk. You have more of Libras. I just sometimes just rattle on,
Right.
without the Taurus is like, let me think about that. I want it, it's a different attitude. It is. So I have a lot of Taurus friends, and sometimes they're too slow for me. No,
Don't worry, I've been told that before. I've been told that. Don't worry. Okay. I have another question for you.
okay.
And be honest.
So
So, have you ever looked at someone else's chart and said, "Oh hell no"?
I have. Okay, and sometimes I will see sun, moon, and rising all the same, and all the planets are in not in certain houses, and there's a lot of things that I thought, oh, this is going to be a tough chart. I have said that, and usually if I see triple Scorpios or triple anything, there's this really, and it doesn't happen very often. Yeah, but I can tell by the way the planets are aligned in the houses. I mostly look at where the planets are in the houses. That's my big thing. The houses, there's 12 houses to the zodiac, and each house represents a different area of your life. And some of the houses have a lot of planets in them, and some have none. And the ones with none are the best, because that means you have that area of your life worked out. So when I see planets scattered all over, I figure they're usually not confused, but I can tell. Okay, this is a good answer to your question. See, it takes me a while to get there. I do these. How can I put it? I do live like psychic readings. Okay, and people will write me what they want to talk about in videos and say I can tell by the way they write their problems and their questions exactly what they're going to be like more than anything. I can pick that up. Like it's the way they say, well, my life is this. And I can tell that they're whining, or if I can tell they're matter of fact, just by a few words. And also when I see like a lot of Taurus in a chart, I know that person is really pretty together and knows where they're going. So I'll give you that credit.
I want to read you my chart, but I don't want to do that yet. I do not want to do that yet. I don't want to get into that just yet.
No free charts today, okay? No.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, which zodiac sign throws the best shade, but absolutely can't take it?
The best shade.
Yes. Like, is good with criticism, but cannot take it.
Or they can dish it out and can't take it? Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. Scorpios.
I was going to say Virgo. Why?
Because Scorpios are so intense and they're so looking at that, and you criticize them and they fall apart. Scorpios feel that they're perfect and they know what they're doing, and absolute criticism destroys them. If I had to pick one sign, okay, I know you're going to say Virgo, and everybody thinks that Virgo is, and Virgo is a really sensitive sign, and I have a lot of Virgo in my chart, and I will cry before I get mad.
Oh, there's extra noise. Ooh, I hear extra noise. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Do you have headphones?
No.
No? All right, no, I hear you good now. But there's extra noise. No, it's okay. Don't worry. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Okay, so where were we here?
With the Virgos.
Okay, Virgos. Okay, I have a Virgo moon, Virgo rising. I'm supposed to be very detail oriented. Everything has to be clean and neat, and it's so untrue. I get organized once a day, and I get all my files ready, and by the next day they're messed up again. And that's how I am. And where a Taurus person is going to organize your files. I had a sister who's a Taurus, and her house, you go in there at night, the whole kitchen is cleared off. Not one, even a coffee pot's left out. And her closet is like all color coded, all lined. I thought I could do that for about one day, and then I'm throwing my shoes in the closet the next day. In fact, because I was thinking today, I've got to go through that closet. Everything's a mess. I work so much that I sometimes feel like I just don't want to do anything else, and I do let things go, because it's more important for me to work than to worry about whether my shoes are messed up. Now, if I'm a Virgo, if I had a really strong Virgo, is that I would have every shoe lined up, and I would be thinking while I'm working, one of my shoes is out of place, and run back there and fix it, And Tauruses are like that too. The most Taurus people I know, in fact, the Earth signs, the Taurus, Virgos, and Capricorns really have a strong sense of order about their lives. I like to think I do. I have a list every day, and I look at it, and I try to do it all. And I think, well, if I can't do it, I'll put it off till tomorrow. But Taurus, I've known a lot of, I look at signs a lot. I mean, I see people. I don't sit there and analyze them to death, but I do know, like, Aries are the caretakers of Zodiac. They take care of everybody except themselves, and the old thing is that they have to be first at everything, and they're always starting things. And that's not necessarily true. But every Aries person I've known is selflessly helping other people.
That is true about the Taurus. Okay. Now I want to get into the history of you, because you've done a lot of work. 30 years, right? So I have a question. What got you? So I asked you what got you into astrology, but you talk about you were a paralegal. You were going to school to be a paralegal before. What made you walk away from that in general?
It was boring. The class was boring. I thought, I don't like this, and first, my husband at the time told me I'd make it through one class, and I proved him wrong. I left at the break. I left all my books on the table, and I walked out, and that was it. After buying the books. Yes, I'm not very practical. I thought, this is not for me, and I didn't give it a chance. You know what? Maybe if I would have, I don't know why I picked that, but I look back, why would I want to be a paralegal? And I just, and I didn't know what I wanted to do until my friend said, have your chart done. And I thought, I love this. And I actually got my best girlfriend to call radio stations to see if she can I really went out there, and I have to say, I made myself very well known in a short period of time. TV and radio, no internet to deal with. I had to go there, and I wrote for the local newspapers. I wrote for, I got so that I was a celebrity. I was asked to do a contest, asked to do all kinds. I had a great time. So I had my Andy Warhol, 15 minutes of fame. I had my 15 minutes of fame. It lasted about 6 years. Then my life changed, and I got that. I always did astrology, but then I decided to go online, and I thought, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have a website, and I don't know. I just kind of slowly figured it all out and made it happen. And as you know, Ray, it's getting tougher and tougher. Marketing online, I'm not going to go into all of it. That's not the thing today. You have to be seen. You have to work 20 times harder. It used to be a year and a half ago, I will tell you honestly, I didn't have to do a thing. On Instagram, I went from 400 followers to 300,000 in like 6 months. And now, the videos that were successful and well, I have to change. I have to work much harder, and there's one reason for it. There are astrologers and tarot card readers coming out of the woodwork. And if I may just say one thing as a warning for people, most astrologers, I love AI. I use it all the time. ChatGPT is my place, but it doesn't know how to figure out the planetary placements. They're off 100%. And I told them, he said, we know that. The only planets that mean anything are the ones that are in the ephemeris. If you ever ask an astrologer, does she use the ephemeris? If she doesn't, you're not going to get an accurate chart. So that's my only complaint today, is that there are so many astrologers telling people wrong stories, because they have, for example, Pluto is now in Aquarius, and they're still back in Pluto in Capricorn. And it hasn't been that for 7 months. And they have Jupiter it's in Cancer. They have it in Taurus, I think. They're so off. And that was last year, and it was the year before. So things obviously have changed. And that worries me. And I have even done a video on that where I have it pinned. Please, if you pick an astrologer, pick someone who's had some experience. These new astrologers are scaring people to death. They're telling them they're having 5 wonderful years or 5 horrible years. And we control our charts. You know, you're Ray, okay? And you're a Taurus person, but your first year Ray. You are who you are. You have your own feelings. You live your life. You're responsible for who you are. And so when people ask me questions, and I'll say, well, I'm a Gemini, so this is, no, I said, it's not true. You're in control of your chart and you're in control of your own responsibilities. Charts are great guides, and I help a lot of people, but I get them to think that they're all responsible for themselves, because there's nothing in the world that's going to be easy for you except you. So that's my big mantra for the day, so to speak.
I appreciate that. I actually do appreciate that. Okay, so let's go into some hot topics, some hot takes. Okay,
Let's do that.
because yes. Okay, so if you could cancel one zodiac sign for a full year, who's out and why?
Okay, I can get in trouble for this, but there is one, and I have the answer, and it is Cancer people. And I have, for some reason, I don't have trouble with all cancers, but if I have trouble with somebody, they're a Cancer. I don't want to say I don't trust them. I got to be careful. Is that we just so different in our thinking, and they're known to be loving and warm and caring, and that isn't always true. There's a lot of other things that do that. So I've had, you're going to laugh. Okay, I've had 12 digital marketers work for me in 2 years. Never mind, they don't do their job. And 4 of them were Cancer people. 4 I got. And I'm not going to say they were the worst, because they were, in my mind, none of them, I paid a lot of money and didn't get anything done, So, and I hate to say I don't trust them. I guess because I have a daughter-in-law who is a Cancer person, and she is just, you never know what she's going to do. They always act, here's it. Cancer people act really emotional and caring, and I question that. I know I'm in trouble now. A Cancer person or reading again. Yeah. I have to
I'm surprised you said Cancer. I'm actually surprised.
Why?
Um, just just because I hear so many good things about them, I was expecting you would say either a Pisces or a Scorpio. I was not. I was expecting a water sign, but I was not expecting Cancer.
Well,
That is
Pisces
interesting.
is married to a Pisces, and he's great. And I like Scorpio people. I feel like they're honest. So, but just remember, I'm a Libra, and Libra and Cancer are square each other, and there is usually, generally speaking, a lot of stress between the 2 signs.
Okay. Okay.
So I get along with them fine, with everybody. And I get along with most of my Cancer friends, but I don't trust them. And there's a lot of reasons. That's a personal thing. But I've known a lot of Cancer people, and like I can't work with them. Obviously, I can't work with them, but maybe I can't work with anybody. you know.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. This is the one I really want to know.
Oh
What
God.
is the most dangerous sun and moon combo you've ever seen?
Okay. I'm gonna, there's probably several, but I'm gonna say probably Scorpio with an Aries moon is the most argumentative, the most difficult, and um, that came to my mind first of all, that combination. Yeah. But if I could think of any other ones, it would be, I think of the squares, like Taurus. Let's say Taurus would be with Aquarius, or Taurus would be with Leo. I don't want to say that they're dangerous. They're very difficult, I should say. Yeah, a lot of different thinking, and opposites attract. But I did a chart the other day, and everything was square. The sun, the moon, all the planets were, and they were having a lot of problems. And I didn't want to tell them that your chart is doomed for your life. I'm not going to tell somebody that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I answered your big question. Now all those people are going to be after me. I'm going to lock my doors right now and be sure they're locked.
Okay. What zodiac pair is a walking red flag but keeps getting back together?
Virgo and Aries. Yeah, yeah. I think if I'm going to pick one but here's the thing. See, Aries take care of the Virgo. Virgos love to be taken care of. They love all the nice things. And Aries will do it. And then they reach a point where they get mad and throw things and they hate the other person and then they get back with them again. I've heard a lot of that with that combination. Yeah. But it can't work. And a lot depends on the moon sign and the rising signs and Venus and particularly Mercury, Venus, and Mars are very influential on relationships, even more than the rising sign and the moon sign, in my opinion.
Can you go into that? Can you go into that a little bit? And why do you think that?
Mercury is how you think, you reason, communicate. Venus is how you love your friends, your family, and significant other. And Mars is your mental, physical, emotional energy. So those are the three things that make up a relationship. How you communicate, how you love each other, and the energy you use. So I do a lot of compatibility readings and people, so it doesn't matter if your sun sign is square or your rising sign, those are more superficial. I mean, I think, no, I shouldn't say that. Rising sign is the way people see you, and you grow into your rising sign, I feel, as you get older. You're more your rising sign.
Okay, I heard that before. Why do you think that? I actually heard what you just said. I heard that before. Why do you think that?
Because you're born. Okay, I'm born a Libra. Okay, born a Libra, and I get older, and my rising sign is Virgo. I become much more, not detailed, much more worried, much more into things than I was when I was younger. I was very carefree. Nothing bothered me. Now everything. I worry. I get involved, and I think it's that Virgo in my chart. But then I have Mercury and I have Venus, both of them in Libra. So I think that I may communicate, I don't always communicate my true feelings to people, because I don't want to, I think a lot of us just don't think fast on our feet. Afterwards, you think, why didn't I do this or do that? And so I've had some really mean people that I should have shut off in the beginning, and the words just don't come out. Now, if it happened, I'd let them have it. I think. I don't know. I have really nice friends. I've gotten rid of all the friends who I felt did that to me. I thought, I don't deserve that. And I think you become smarter as you get older, hopefully, and you become the way people see you. And you always look at how people see you, and you'll find out it's really a lot more how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I'm big on Mercury because that's who you're communicating with people, your Mercury, where is your Mercury on your chart?
Aries.
Okay, so this is what makes you a fast thinker, a fast actor, fast talker, along with that Taurus I told you is a little calmer. So that Mercury is why you're doing well at what you do. You think fast, you got ideas, and the brain is always going.
Yes, and then I'm going to give you one more spiel because I want to say at the end, my chart, I have a Gemini rising.
Okay, so interesting. You're right down the line there. So you've got the earth, you've got the fire, and you've got the air. Good. It's a good balance. And I think that people see you as talkative, interesting, and everything. You're getting away from your Taurus a lot. You don't have any, those big six tell the story. In fact, I'm going to be offering a new reading, I think, where I just do the sun, moon, and rising, and they get to ask one question. And I thought I'd have be a very reasonable written report. And I think that people place a lot of importance on sun, moon, and rising, of course, but it is still in terms of, like you said, you have Mercury and Aries, correct? And do you know where you have Venus?
Yeah, my Venus is in Taurus.
Okay, and your Mars?
Pisces.
Okay, so you go back and forth a lot. You can be really talkative, really introspective, really thinking. And I think that And we all are like that to some degree. But you really, I mean, you got the water, you got the air, and you got the fire and the earth. You got all four elements in your big six. Yeah. So, and like I just have and air and earth. I just, that's the
Air
difference.
and Earth.
Yeah. And so I got my Libra, Virgo, then I have Libra, and I have Aquarius, I have Mars. And it's so energy. I'm like this. I'll do this for a while, I'll do that. And then I'm sitting there, I'm writing a book. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you definitely have Aquarius. Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to work on it. And after about a half hour, I'm like this. I got to do something else. I can't, it's hard for me to stick with anything for long periods of time. I go back to it. And I also find if I'm not in the mood to do it and have to force myself, I have to quit because it's not going to work. So it's just about, one of the things astrology does, and I hadn't really thought about this a lot, it makes us really more aware of ourselves. You know what? You really kind of understand yourself. I mean, here that you're a Taurus person with an Aries moon and Gemini rising, and I think and then you have the,
All right.
Aries.
Well, hold on. So, okay, I'll tell you. Taurus sun, Taurus moon.
No, I have a Libra. No, but you're a
me.
Your moon sign is Taurus. No.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Ready? So my Mercury is in Aries.
You told me that, yeah. And
my moon is Taurus, my sun is Taurus, and my Venus is Taurus, and the rising is Gemini.
Okay. Now, you told me that Venus was, okay, so you've got a lot of Taurus on your chart.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't. I was under the impression you're Gemini rising, and then you have Mercury in Aries, and I know that Mars is in Pisces, and
yes.
Venus is in Taurus. So you've got you've got three. The sun, moon, and Venus are in Taurus.
Yes.
Okay. So even though you're talkative and you're outgoing and you're all that kind of stuff and everything, is that you really I'm going to say you deal well with stress and with difficult problems. I think you look at them, the Taurus part of you kind of like, okay, am I getting excited about this for a reason, or is this going to pass by tomorrow? That's something that I wish I could do it. I get, on things, and life is over, and my life is over, and by the end of the day, the problem has been solved. And I think that most of things in our lives come to pass. We're hit with a lot of things that we create, and a lot of things that we have no control of. So we have two types of things that happen to us in our life. Some things happen. I mean, a friend decides never to talk to you again, and you don't really have control on that. But you have control on what you're going to eat, what you're going to say, what you feel. Or if I say to you, Ray, you know what? I heard that you just lost $100,000. And that's something that you can't control and you have to deal with. But I know you don't want to lose $100,000, but you learn how to deal with it.
As a Taurus, that is horrible to hear.
Yeah, I just never dealt with money until recently. I just thought it was always going to be there. And I found out. Yeah, I found out differently. Yeah. So I wish I had been more practical. I wish that Virgo, that's where the Virgo moon and Virgo rising never showed up in my chart. Just the Libra. Let's do this, do that. And yet I've always worked. I always do. I went away to college. I saved up $3,000 in high school so I can go away to college. So I do know that I learned at a young age, if I want something, I have to work for it. So today, I know you're part of Generation Z.
No, I'm a millennial.
Okay, so you're in your 30s.
32.
Okay.
No, 33. I just turned 33. Born 92.
Yeah. So you're close, though. You're close to the Generation Z, actually. And the Generation Z today they're in a different world. We know that. But they don't have the direction. Number one, the world's so expensive. Used to find a car somewhere for $6,000. Today, brand new cars cost $60,000, $80,000. And they can't afford houses and they can't afford rent. Rent has doubled or tripled in the last 5 years. So I think they feel, what the hell? They take an Uber to go drink with their friends. They stay at home. A lot of them don't work. A lot of them don't care. Not all of them. I'm not being fair because I have, I know there's a lot of very ambitious, good people out there, but they don't have to take care of themselves. It's like my dad was an immigrant. He came from Ukraine, and the families lived in one room, saved up money, started businesses, and took care of themselves. And so the work ethic today has changed a lot because now parents say, you got 6 months in here, find a job and a place to live, and you're out of here. But parents don't do that.
No, it's changed.
Yeah. And what signs are most likely to go out there and take care of themselves? Taurus is one of them. The ones least likely to do it, surprisingly enough, are actually the water signs and the air sign. I know the air signs, you think, oh, wow, but the Libras, Geminis, and Aquarius, even though they can be very independent, are more apt to fall into this. Yeah. So,
and why is that?
You know what? I think that, the fire signs work with energy, the earth with practicality, and the air with intellectual thinking, and the water with emotions. So, I can't answer that entirely. I just know I always ask when I hear, somebody is not dealing with their lives, I always find out that they're often air signs. I don't know. You think that they would be. And the earth signs, no, they're too practical. You want to get out there, you want to get on your own, and maybe this generalizing a little bit, and I could be, but I'm sort of disappointed in this generation, and yet they're almost victims, and I don't like that word, but it's hard to find the right jobs, even though and what I think, you're going to laugh, as I get off the topic a lot. The biggest problem people have today, we have too many choices. And think about, okay, I love pretzels, okay, I'm watching TV. They have all these fancy 47 flavors. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't even know where to begin with 47 flavors of pretzels. I just want one. And today they used to be just a nurse and a doctor. Now they have a tech for holding your hand, a coach who helps you before divorce, during divorce, and after divorce. And, a tech that'll do the x-rays, a tech we have a lot of different choices today. And it's good and it's bad. Okay, so you're shaking your head, agreeing with me.
No, it's 100%. You're spitting facts right now. That's why I'm shaking my head.
And it is like, kids coming out of school. I've got grandkids that are in school, and they're just, when they find a job, they have dad will pay the bills or something like that. You know what I mean? There's not that sense of urgency to go out there and take care of themselves.
Right. Lack of motivation.
They want to be independent. And I shouldn't say this. I have a very rich son, and the girls are great, and they're doing great and everything, but they know that the dad can help them out. And I don't know that it's bad or it's good. I know that I had to work because my parents didn't have a lot of money. And I just still feel to this day when I want something, I love what I do, Ray, but I love getting paid for it. It means approval to me, and it's also nice to have the extra money. We all have bills to pay, food to eat, roofs over our head, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I was shaking my head because she's spitting facts right now. I appreciate that.
Because
that's the Libra in you, though. That's the Libra in you. That's the Mercury. It's the Libra in you.
It's true. But life is off topic. Think about it. Are off topic.
All right, let me ask you this: what sign is most likely to be rich, and what makes them magnetic?
It is so easy, and it is Capricorns. And Capricorns, I have my little comedy routine. I say, if you see a Capricorn and he looks off in space somewhere, don't worry, he's just adding up the interest rate from his last investment. And I think that they know they know that they have their lives. They have to plan ahead, they have to plan now, and they decide. Now, not every Capricorn in the world is successful financially, but my ex-husband was Capricorn, and he was a dentist, but he also was a good businessman. And he always had money. He always planned ahead and saw to it that he had the wealth. And I think most Capricorns, and particularly if they also have Mercury in Capricorn. So that combination is very strong for success. And you want to know what the least successful is? Oh God, I got my foot in my mouth, that one.
Yeah, you might as well say it.
Okay, and that, I'm gonna say this with tongue in cheek. It's Aquarius, and because money is not their major concern in life. Okay, so they may get their lofty ideas there. They're the smartest sign of the zodiac. They think outside the box. They're brilliant, and the Aquarians I know have been very, very smart. But that money is not up at the top of their desires and needs in their lives. And also, Taurus is a runner-up in the area of success too. It's basically the Earth signs, even the Virgos. They have a way of that money's important, and they see to it. Here's the thing. When I'm doing a chart, the woman wants to leave her husband or whatever. My first question: how much money, without their income and without you working, can you survive? How many months could you survive without working and not having money come in? And that really, like I said, if they say, I have enough to live for a year or two, I said, quit your job. Or if you want to get out of your relationship, if you can live on what you have. Before I give you advice, I'm not going to tell you what the chart says. I want to be sure you're okay. I'm not going to tell you to go leave your family or quit a job when you don't have any money in the bank. And I actually tell people to set up savings accounts. If they're feeling, I don't have any money, take the money off the top of your paycheck. And if you have $200 less to spend, you'll still survive with it. They always say they live paycheck to paycheck. That paycheck goes and buys Nike shoes for their kids at $200 that they don't tell you about. So, find if you take the money off the top, you got a paycheck of, let's say, $2,000, and your current bills are whatever. And if you have any money left over at the end, you're going to go spend it. If you take it off the top, you're going to live more carefully and buy what you need. And it works 100%. And somehow mostly Capricorns, know this instinctively.
Okay.
Long answer to your question.
I was going to say Capricorn or Taurus. So
yeah, Taurus is close there.
Can your chart show whether you'll stay broke or build wealth?
Yes and no. I look at the money house, which is your second house. And when I see Uranus in that house, I say, uh-oh, you're up and down. This is it. And can I tell you that your business deals aren't going to succeed? Or this, this is a very complicated question. It really depends on the whole chart and what the person's goals are for their personal goals. And in general, you know what, Tauruses and Capricorns, I have a Taurus sun. He looks like he's not working, and he's got and he's got these business going, and he's always traveling, and it never talks about stress or whatever. And I lives in this absolutely gorgeous house in Seattle, millions. And so he does it so quietly, and that's what I love Tauruses. They somehow, oh yeah, I do have $25 million in the bank, like that, like it's no big deal, and they make things happen in a different way. And actually, I should have put Taurus up there with Capricorn. Capricorn but they do it for a different way. It's like they're both slower at it, but the Capricorns thinking about this like with the day they're born. They come out with an adding machine, But the Tauruses have a different way. Is that it's hard to explain it until I do somebody's chart, so I can see the differences. Yeah. So yes and no in answering your question there.
Okay. I have one other question. Can dating the right sign actually help you manifest more money?
That depends. Okay, if you're dating a Capricorn, you hear that he's investing all this money, doing well, it can influence you in what you do. And also, let's talk all relationships. When I first got married to this husband, we were spending a lot of money. Okay, and it got me spending more money. So I was yes, there's a strong influence when you're with somebody, how they spend their money. That's a better way to ask that question. I answer it, and sometimes I don't believe in total frugality, but, there's a funny thing about money. Sometimes the more you have, the more you worry about it, the more you don't want to spend it because you want it to be a certain level. And sometimes the people with the less money tend to spend more. It's like, if you only have $100, why worry about it? But if you have 10 million and you lose in an investment, you lose 1 million, you feel like you're losing all your money. I should put it that way. Money's a funny thing. There's no rules on it. Sometimes you can feel rich when you have 5,000 in the bank and poor when you have 20 million in the bank. It depends on your attitude about it.
Before we get into these quick fire rounds, because I really want to get into these, I have one more serious question. This is, if you don't want to answer this, it's okay. So you read over 10,000 charts.
20,000. I got
20,000.
Yeah.
What chart you read that made you cry, like an emotional way? Like, wow,
that
I
was
know
hard.
this person's gonna go through it.
That's a tough question. I will tell you though that there's been so many of them. I can't even remember all the placements. I know though when I see a lot of Pisces on a chart, and I see, and actually Cancer people cry a lot, so I have to cry with them. I feel bad when I see a lot of Virgo in a chart, when I see a lot of Pisces in a chart, when I see a lot of anything. When I see an overload of fire, water, air, earth, or mutable, fixed, or cardinal. It depends on what mood for the day. And I did a chart and I knew that the person had a tough life. And that's because I saw, and not that Virgos have problems and Pisces do, but when I see an overload of those, this is where the emotions come in, and this is where they're having problems. So I can't really answer that question for you directly because I can't, all the charts, I know that when I get a chart, I'm looking at one now here, and this person has Aries, Capricorn, Pisces, and they're a little bit of everything. I love that. When I see all that on there, I know I have a careful thinker, and I have a person that, when I see an overload of, like, you have 3 Tauruses out of 6, and that just means it's kind of like a borderline. I know that I love to see, like I said to you before, we have the Aries, we have the water, and we have the air, and we have the fire. So you have a good balance of everything. I'm Libra, I'm unbalanced. I only have Virgos, I only have earth and air, And what the thing is, honestly, Ray, we're all crazy. This whole incarnation, everybody you meet is crazy in some way.
Yeah, we are.
There's no normal. I don't know what normal would be. I think, am I normal? What is,
Yeah.
I get up every day, I take care of my life. If you take care of your life, you pay your bills, you go to work if you have it, you take care of yourself physically, then you're normal. And if you're kind,
right.
I tell people for relationship, they want these guys back, or gals, I should say, who treat them so badly. Sometimes they're in jail, sometimes they don't show up. I said, you have to evaluate, is this what you want for the rest of your life? Okay, if they're kind and good and have your back, and there's a spark, you've got the perfect relationship. I mean, perfect, that's a term. But people would rather be in bad relationships than at all. And I found that to be almost 100% true.
Yes, that is 100% true.
Yeah, we don't miss the person, we miss having a relationship. And that's what people miss more than they do the person. Because that relationship gives you security, makes you feel important, whatever it is. So that's my opinion, but I found it to be really true. Yeah. I'm probably one of the few astrologers that really does a reading. I read the people as well as I read their charts. Most astrologers just go through the motions I hear them online. I mean, when one of them gets up and says, because of this aspect, you're going to have a bad time, you're going to break up with them. I mean, you tell them all this stuff that could happen to anybody. That is not astrology. When I'm doing a personal chart, that's astrology. Not telling all Geminis that because of this aspect, they're going to have a terrible life for another week or two. It doesn't work like that. However, Mercury is the ruling planet of Geminis and Virgos, and I want to tell you, every day something breaks or goes wrong in the house, and it'll do that. I know that everybody knows Mercury retrograde. Yes, yes, we do. So the Gemini in your chart, yes, maybe your microphone's not working, or a few things are, nothing serious though. That is not but these astrologers get used by using the hype words like explosive, and you're going to have this, and you do realize, if I tell you, as a Taurus person, if I list 10 things that are going to happen to you, one of them is bound to happen just by the nature of it happening. And people don't think that. Okay, if I say you're going to have a tough week because you spilled milk on the floor, you know what I mean, whatever. If I tell you 10 different things that are going to happen, some of that, you say, boy, that Carol is really a good astrologer. Giving away my secrets here.
I went for a run yesterday. I went for a 10K because I do 10Ks 4 times a week. I lost. So in Spain, the locks are different. The locks are different for doors. I have 3 keys. I lost my key, and this was the key to get into my room, not into my building or into the main door of my house. It was the key to get in my room. So now, until my landlord comes back, I have to climb through the window to get into my house. So I don't know if that.
Yes, that's Mercury retrograde.
Yeah. It hasn't been great.
Yeah, I guess things that happen.
Yeah. You know what? I'm happy. I'm up. I'm talking to you. I'm learning. My family's good. That I look at the bigger picture. It's like it's all right. Whatever. We'll get through it.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have quick fire round, and then we're gonna end it off. So, give me the top 5 zodiac signs that cheat.
Cancer, number 1. Number 1. Okay. Number 2 would be Leos. Number 3 would be Pisces. Number 4 would be Aries. And number 5 would be Sagittarius.
Okay. What sign is most likely to ghost you? A Gemini or an Aries?
Gemini. They get bored, and they end up, and they're, I say about Aries, Geminis, they fall in love in the morning. They meet you in the morning, and by noon they fall in love with you and tell you they want to get married, and by dinner time they send you a Dear John text saying, I changed my mind.
Okay. I agree with that. What out of a Taurus or a Scorpio, what sign takes revenge seriously?
Well, we know it's Scorpio. There's no doubt about that. Yes. You were, yeah, we wouldn't dare. If I said Taurus Day, you'd probably cut me off.
I might agree with you, actually. Oh, okay. What sign out of Leo or Pisces is known to stalk their ex online?
Leo would be more apt to do it.
Why?
Because they're very protective of their own feelings. And if they feel that somebody dumped them, any reason, that's not possible because they're perfect and they like a lot of attention. So they're the more apt to do it. The Pisces is very emotional, of course, but they want to run from the emotions. They don't want to deal with it. Leos don't care. They'll do it. I've hidden.
Okay, let me give you one more.
Okay.
Out of all the signs, what sign has an issue getting over their ex? or has the biggest problem getting over their ex?
That's a really good question. And I'm going to say Aries. Okay, for lack of, I don't think it's one of the water signs, because um, I just see Aries people really suffering a lot from breakup, and they don't get over it and they want it back. Just judging from the number of readings that I do, I always think, wow, these Aries, they are. So that's only from my opinion and from what I've read. Okay.
Okay, so now after this, I wanna go off this, and I wanna make it quick. Um, so can you give me a quick rundown, right? Um, so I know there's a difference between Capricorn women and Capricorn men. Can you go down like each sign? Like if you are a Capricorn woman, you should be dating these signs. If you're a Capricorn man, you should be dating those signs.
It's funny that I just have, okay, I'm going to try to do that for you. That's a tough one because it, I always say there's different, I've done some videos on if you are a December Capricorn or if you're a January Capricorn, because there are some differences. So if I take it in general, Capricorns get, like, for some reason, Capricorn men do really well with Leo women. Okay. And Leo women do really, really well with Aquarian men. Okay, so that we got Capricorn done. Do you want me to start at the beginning?
Yes, if you can.
Okay, Aries men get along super well with Libras across the aisle often. And they have problems they take advantage of and have difficulty. Again, I've got to keep this Aries women end up a lot with relationships with Virgos. I've said that, whether it's good or bad, there is an attraction there that seems to win out. Okay, whether it's good. Taurus people, the best relationship for Taurus men are Cancer women, and the best relationship for Taurus women are Cancer men. That's the love match of the zodiac. That goes all for both of them. And Geminis again, they get along. Men get along with Sagittarius women because they're both freedom loving, and Gemini women really get along surprisingly well. I don't know what this is with Capricorn men. Okay, great. Okay, so we have Cancer. Well, Cancer we've already done because I did Taurus. That one is taken care of. I did Leo for you too. So we'll go to Virgo because some of this repeat because they're using them up. So I can't remember all that. I do know that Virgo women, as I said, with Aries, and Virgo men really like Libras. They don't do well. And Libras, I have to say, Libra men go really well with Libra women, and Libra women go very well with Pisces men, because I'm married to one. I better say that or I'll get in trouble. Yeah, and Scorpio men love Libra women, and Libra women, again, get along with Pisces, as I said before. So on to Scorpio, we said Scorpio men like Libras, and my memory is being tested here. And Scorpio women do really well with Capricorns. Now, okay, there's a run over. There could be a few. Okay. So Sagittarians, again, I told you, Sagittarian men do well with Libra, with Geminis, and Sagittarius women. Also, that both works. Those two signs do really well together any way you look at it because they both like the freedom. And so Aquarians do super well. They love Aries. The men Aquarians like women Aries, and the women Aquarius like Gemini guys. Okay, this one's tough for me. You're making me think. You know that.
Yeah, no. But it's interesting. I appreciate you for saying that. I appreciate you.
Pisces men, again, that was another roundabout. Pisces women and Pisces men both do well with Libras. There's a very strong spiritual nature with Pisces, and Libras really like that because we're always working on staying within that realm. Okay.
I appreciate that.
I need a nap now. I have to go take a nap. Yeah.
All right. All right. So I want to end off the show. I want to give you. So I told you my chart, right? I broke that down to you. I'm a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, Mercury. So the Taurus sun, moon, and Mercury are all in the 12th house. All
Oh, are
right.
they? Yeah.
They are
Okay.
all in the 12th house. Okay.
So you do have a really good intuition. You have really good
instincts. And you should always follow, if something feels wrong to you, no matter how good it looks, make sure you either examine it or don't do it. It's really important when you have all that energy going in the 12th house. A lot of people call it the house of self-undoing, what you do negative to yourself. But the bottom line is all about your intuition, because you're going to make the right decisions or the wrong decisions in life.
Mm. And I have, so the Gemini rising would be tied to the Aries Mercury, which is in the 11th house. And then I have my Mars in the 10th house. And then another one that I remember well is my Saturn, which is in the 10th house. It's in Aquarius.
You know, I'm supposed to remember all that. I can't look at your chart. I can't look at it. I think you're creative with your work and that you're respecting your work. I'll tell you that. And in your 11th house, what do you have in your 11th house again?
It's Mercury and it's in Aries.
Okay, that's your 11th house.
That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. So you like to meet people, you like to in the community, you like to get out there, and you're a front runner in leading whatever you believe in
Or whatever you go after with people so you're doing your perfect work here.
Yeah, I think the podcast is something that is driving me. I think for a long time, career wise, choosing careers, I did it for money, but I think this is more than a career. It's to connect with people on a different level. People like yourself, other people that I've interviewed. It's just to hear the amazing work that you guys have done. I love connecting with people on that type of level, and understanding their work and how long they put in, their craft and stuff. So this is the reason why I do that. Yeah, I love connecting with people.
Okay. And so no, you have a good chart. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that. So one more question. Last question. What's someone's so can you tell me what's one astrology myth you would love to erase forever?
That astrology controls your life. I think that's
it doesn't, as I've always believed, that we control astrology. It
does not control us. And people fall prey to what happens is when you read something, it becomes a natural manifest, and you could create negative and good things. It depends. But if people say to me all the time, well, Saturn was here or there. I had 3 bad years. And I thought, they didn't have any bad years. They had some problems. They dealt with them, and it wasn't. But they look back on it, and say that astrology is a determining factor. It is a guide, and you have to use it wisely.
I appreciate you so much. This is Just the Thought podcast, the astrology queen, aka Miss Carol Starr. Thank you for coming on the show today. Just the Thought podcast, guys. We are out. Okay.
Are we over?
We are